race, and Kenny wasn't done there. Made his way around Jason Anderson and ultimately got around AP here in the next lap.
That one, I don't get that feeling very often, but watching Ken Roczen in time qualifying, I sent you a video last weekend in Arlington. He was flying. This weekend, I wanted to keep an eye on Kenny. There was one section after a straightaway where they would almost jump up into an elevated corner, hit the outside, and then jump down. Kenny came in, feet on the pegs the whole time, on the gas, had perfect lean angle, gripped the bike again on the off, and wide open towards the next corner. I had to stand up. I was like, all right, that's I was like, man, that is so sick. That one corner.
That's
like,
my type of
right?
That is my type of section. Like,
yes.
Not just for me as a rider, but yes, for me as a rider too. If I'm coming into that section, you better believe I'm not the guy taking that tight, annoying inside rut.
Nope.
I'm the guy doing the hip transfer triple on the outside, landing, standing up right on the outside.
My gosh, it was so sick.
There are two different types of people. Like, I could categorize them without even having to watch that race and know who's going where, right?
Yeah,
Cooper Webb's going inside rut, guaranteed.
Yep.
Roczen's going to be a guy doing the cool line on the outside. Sexton's got good enough technique. He's going to jump that outside line.
Yep.
Like, I could pick Justin Hill. Bet you he's probably doing that outside line too, right? Like, there's certain people that you just know personalities and riding styles. That was a really cool section. And for the night show or for the main, might have even just been for the mains, it looked like they refaced the first part of the berm. So they were able to triple and really hip into it faster.
Yes.
Where in the heats or earlier in the day, it looked like it was hard to jump up on and get stopped. Where later in the night, I mean, that was one of the sections where at the beginning of the race, I'm like, right away, you just knew Roczen was freaking on it because he would land in there and slingshot. I'm like, I hope that line doesn't go away because that line alone is like, he's gaining half a second right there alone.
For sure. Yeah, that was just one time where I was like, man, it's so cool to see that stuff, especially if you can see it in person. Hit us up. But yeah, it's great. It's so cool to see sections like that. How would you rate this Daytona scale of 1 to 10? We've seen a lot over the years, going back to archive type videos. How would you rate this one 1 out of 10?
I was trying to count how many I've done myself and raced in person. I've done like 12 of them.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
That's a lot. Maybe even more than that. Always hard to tell from watching on TV, but it looked fun. It looked like one that I would have enjoyed doing, where there's been some Daytonas where I'm just like, get me out of here.
Get me out of here. Just gonna say, can we leave, please?
But there's been some that are super, super fun. I think this one looked pretty fun, and it looked racy, and like that triple to the outside versus that inside rut, pretty fair split. You know, depending on where you went, it was a good place to try to pass a guy, a good place to just not follow and not get killed and lose a ton of time. There was sort of the after you, well, there was one rhythm where you could jump the tunnel jump after it and then straight into the sand. If you went left or right in the sand, that kind of changed and was pretty even depending on how you hit it. After that, and you turn right, that double into that left-hander before that long, really difficult rhythm. It seemed pretty even almost to go outside there and double in versus inside, roll up over. And then you could either go single over table in that rhythm and go 3, or you could go on off and 3 after that. So completely different rhythm, but it was kind of by the end of the section, it would be very close.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that even some of the lines that you would take, which is like, not the fastest line, whether it's a table over or table on or whatever it is, they kind of like held you back at the same amount almost. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if the table, table over or over table, whatever, if that's like, oh man, it kind of sets you up a little bit weird for this next one. If the person that kind of did a different rhythm, they would have their own like little weird rhythm. So it's like, I kind of lost a half a second, but so did that guy, because it's not really, you know what I mean? Like I felt like,
so it created a lot of like yo-yoing.
Yeah,
you would see guys like be right up on somebody, and then all of a sudden 3 turns later they were half a straightaway behind.
Exactly.
Which is cool. That's the sign of a good track usually, I would say.
For sure. Yeah. So a lot of guys being able to like, oh man, I lost a couple tenths, but hey, so did he. And he's on a whole different rhythm than I did, you know? And he did it perfectly. So that was really cool too. And I like the fact that they incorporate like the split lanes, like the left-hander and the right-hander and stuff too. I thought that was pretty cool because like you said, it was really hard to tell by the main events which one was going to pay out dividends. Qualifying practice, we can see a difference. Outside in the sand was a little bit faster. Maybe some of the rhythms were shaken out a little bit differently, but by the main event, it's like, man, whoever just goes through their own section personally faster is gonna get it. So yeah, definitely a really cool track. I would love to see them kind of like do like a throwback retro, like 04, 05 Daytona. I think that would be really cool where we have maybe some more pack jump faces, because that's typically what we saw back in the early 2000s. It was Daytona, but the jump faces I feel like were a bit more harder packed. They were a bit more supercrossy. That'd be cool to see how that would translate for the modern day technique, modern day bikes, modern day approach to it, with that sort of retro throwback track. I think that would be a kind of a cool, unique twist to throw on the whole deal. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed the track.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.